Hello guys, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel Hope RBI. In this particular lecture, I'm going to talk about the important chapters that you need to focus more upon for your preparation of numerical portion for the SEBI Grade A examination Phase 2. You see, in Phase 1, no numerical was asked in the examination. There was just one question regarding the basic concept of accountancy, that is assets equals to liabilities plus capital, and the value of assets was given, the value of capital was given, and you had to calculate the liability. The question was in these particular lines, so the question was not difficult. So even if we consider that numericals could be asked in the phase 1, the numericals will not be much difficult. These will be extremely easy. What you need to worry about is the phase 2, because the level of numericals in the phase 2 was a little harder. It was not extremely difficult, but it was a little harder, considering you have to focus more on the basic concepts rather than going into too much detail in a particular topic. The questions were really basic, the numericals were also really basic, so don't worry about it too much. Just focus on the basics and solve basic numericals. You will be able to get through. So let's talk about the commerce and accountancy first. Accounting as a financial information system, this is totally theoretical. There is no numerical in this. Accounting standards with reference to this, accounting of depreciation, inventories, revenue recognition, fixed assets, foreign exchange transactions, investments. This is important because there were, if I'm not wrong, two questions last year. By the way, you have to check out the previous year paper. I have uploaded that on the Telegram channel. Link will be in the description. So this is important because accounting standards, there were some questions. There was a question regarding revenue recognition. There was a question regarding foreign exchange transaction. The question was very basic regarding the basics of accountancy, but you had to consider the accounting standard as well. So these were the basic questions. So you have to consider the basics of accounting standards for your numerical portion as well. Don't go into too much details, just cover the basics and you will be good to go. I wasn't able to solve the numerical regarding this particular topic because I was not able to recall the standards according to the foreign exchange transactions or revenue recognition, if I'm not wrong. And the next is the cash flow statement, fund flow statement, financial statement, and ratio analysis. Totally numerical topics. You have to cover them. One question was from the cash flow statements. Was very easy question, very basic question. Financial statement analysis, your balance sheet, your covering of the balance sheet, your income statement. Very basic questions from this as well. You see, if you're talking about the preparation and presentation of company final accounts, you will be covering everything, the journal entries, the ledger entries, the trial balances. How do you take all the information into a particular balance sheet on a particular profit and loss account? So while doing that, you will be automatically covering the financial statement analysis and the cash flow statement. So it is very basic, very easy. Only understand the basic concepts. Don't go into too much detail. Don't watch the balance sheets of RBI or balance sheet of the bigger companies and try to analyze them. There is no need for that. Just basic concepts would do. And ratio analysis is also very important. There was a question regarding ratio analysis. It was a little lengthy question. It was not difficult at all, but it was a little lengthy. But everything was very easy. It was, you can say, a combination of two to three ratios, accounting ratios, and you had to solve them. Very easy. Next is the accounting for the share capital transactions, including bonus shares, right shares. I actually did not put much emphasis in this particular section, as well as in the employee stock option and buyback of securities, because I did only the basics, and luckily I did not encounter much questions from this. But that does not mean that this year this will happen as well. You have to cover the basics, but don't go into too much details. If you see the last year's paper, the paper was a little bit harder, but it was not extremely difficult for you to solve. The questions were really basic. You had to only understand the basic concepts, and all the questions were solvable. So you have to cover these sections also, but only the basic portion. Don't go into too much details. Don't go into too much numericals in these. And I already told you about the preparation presentation of final accounts. This also incorporates your Companies Act, because it is made according to the Companies Act. So you have to consider that, as well as you have to consider all the things, your ledger entries, your journal entries, your trial balances. Each and everything has to be covered to make the final company's account, and finally to analyze the financial statements. So everything is correlated, everything is linked. So you have to basically cover these things which I told you about. That is accounting standards, just the basic things. Every basic numerical of cash flow statement, fund flow statement, financial statement analysis, and ratio analysis. Then a little less emphasis on these two parts for numerical, not for the actual paper, for numerical portion I'm saying. Just read the basics, and this is also important, the preparation presentation of final company accounts. A numerical could be asked from this particular section. Moving on to the finance. A lot of you guys might also be RBI Grade B aspirants, so you are familiar with this section. It is very important. But in a SEBI Grade A examination, there were many numericals from the finance section. There were numericals from the derivatives. Okay, there was a question from futures and forwards last year, and it was a basic question, not too much complicated. But my preparation regarding this was not actually up to the mark, so I did not attempt this question. I thought it was difficult, but now I'm familiar with the concepts. I can do it now. But at that point of time, I was not able to solve this question. And swap, I did not encounter the question from swap. So you can read the basics, but don't go into too much details. But yes, you need to consider this for your numericals. Basically, the numerical was not strictly related to the derivatives. It was related to the equity valuation, equity valuations. Okay, you had to find out the value of the market capital, your basic bond price, or the basic share price. Everything was given in the question, but I was not able to comprehend that time, so I could not solve this question. But it was a really basic question. So this is very important for you guys. This is totally your non-numerical portion. Financial inclusion also, alternate sources of finance also, indirect taxes, GST, fiscal policy, everything is non-numerical. Inflation, everything is non-numerical. WPI, CPI, these are totally, cramming these portions. What is the value of CPI or WPI according to this report, according to that report? Everything is according to that particular thing. So only thing, there was one thing also, there was a question regarding options, which is not mentioned in the syllabus here. There was a question regarding options last year, and it was also a basic question. It was basically a question of equity valuation. You actually did not need to worry about the term options given there, but the question was very basic. So I am requesting you to please go through the derivatives chapter and cover the numerical portions that you can cover, and also the equity valuations while you are covering, all the things, your forex, money, bond, equity, all these things. When you are covering this, you also have to cover some of the equity valuation chapter as well. From the sources which I have referred to, very good examples are given. Only go through the basic examples, that's it. Moving on to the costing. This is the most important chapter because this portion covers everything from your numerical point of view. Okay, the most important chapter is standard costing, one numerical was asked, marginal costing, one numerical was asked, budget and budgetary control, one numerical was asked, and the questions were a little complicated, not very much difficult, but a little complicated, but the questions were doable. Okay, if you had understood the basic concepts of standard costing, the basic concepts of marginal costing, or the budget and budgetary control, you would have easily done the numericals. They were not hard, but a little bit lengthier and complicated. You had to, solve one value, and then after that you had to solve the other, and then after that you had to solve the other. Only the chained kind of questions, but these were very basic, and so these are very important for the numerical point of view. Also everything here, your unit costing, job costing, batch costing, contract costing, process operation costing, service sector costing, all the basic concepts and all the cost sheets regarding this. You don't need to go through anything very much complicated. Don't try to make a full cost sheet which is covering the portions of standard costing as well as a batch costing example as well as a contract costing example. You don't have to cover a whole cost sheet. You only need to cover the basic things, that how a cost sheet is made, what are the things that are considered while creating a cost sheet of a batch costing or a marginal costing or a standard costing. Everything you need to know about is just basic, not complicated, because they are not looking for well prepared CAs for this job. This is a generalist post, only general idea would do. Okay, but you need to put a little bit more efforts in the costing portion for the numerical section, because this portion, every portion of this, be it your introduction to cost and management, the scope, this is very basic, but everything is related to that. If you are understanding the basic concepts of cost and cost accounting, then everything is numerical. So chances are that questions, numericals, might be asked from this particular section in a larger quantity. That is why you have to cover costing very comprehensively for your numerical portion, but don't go into too much depth. Just follow the basic numericals. Now, from where do you cover the numericals? From which sources? You see, I've recommended the MCQ course of EduTap. They are going through a discount these days. I guess there is a 50% discount till tomorrow. You can practice the MCQs. They have given some of the numerical problems as well, and the solutions are also given. So you can practice numericals from that. The secondly, you can follow the sources. I have introduced you to the NAPTEL lectures, NPTEL lectures. So whenever you are understanding any concept regarding the costing or regarding the accountancy, many numericals are explained according to the conceptual clearance for you to understand. So you can also follow these kinds of numericals as well, because when I was preparing last year, I did not go through any MCQ course. I did not go through any special numerical preparation. I only relied on the basic numericals that were discussed in these lectures, in these sources which I have followed, and mostly the numericals which I found in the phase 2 of this paper were on similar lines. They were not exactly the same, but the concepts were really similar, and I was able to solve the questions. So that is why I'm requesting you to solve these questions, get the idea that how a question is solved, and try to solve multiple questions from this MCQ series. Very important for you guys to cover it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any doubts regarding anything discussed here, you can definitely comment down below, and I will be happy to resolve every query of yours. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching this video as well. Share as much as you can with all the aspirants who are preparing for the SEBI Grade A examination. Have a great day.